computer because that's easier. Okay. Yay! So now we're official, Barbara.
Okay. Hello everyone that's listening.
Welcome to Sacred Chine Chat on today, Friday, 3rd of July. I can't believe we're in July already.
hmm
So, how are you feeling?
Yeah, great.
Yeah? I'd love to
Yeah.
know, because obviously, as I said when I put your things up on the post, that I didn't realize that you and Olivia did training together.
Yeah, right before lockdown. So that was pretty special time. We made it in time.
And what was the training that you were doing together? Was it? I can't
We
remember.
were doing aura transformation.
Oh,
So it's
aura transformation. So the
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So the actual aura mediator course that they call it. Yeah.
and because
Which
not everybody will know actually on the group what is aura
sure.
transformation. Like, I'd love to know, what is that, and also I'd love to know actually, Barbara, because in case anyone knows, this is the first time I've actually met Barbara. So it's really nice. Everybody
Yeah.
else I've had on so far, I know through flesh. So
Okay.
you're my first online member or friend, on the community.
hmm
Lovely. And then when Olivia said she did the training with you, I thought, oh, yay! So it'd just be, yeah, I'd love to know a bit more about your journey and what brought you to doing all the high vibrational work that you do now. Like, did you mind me asking, like, what was your story? Was there a story?
Yeah. Um, I've always been, hold on. What's this? So, um, I've always been pretty connected to energies and things like that. And I work with the languages of light and with different consciousness. So I had like with time, I worked with earth as well, the earth grids. So anchoring different energies
Yeah.
on earth. And with time, like I had different, um, I mean, what we all have, but it's just being able to access more of like, different parts of our consciousness. And it's these high vibrational energies that through I'll bring through in sound and languages that are not our linear, like normal language. It's circular language. So it speaks to the soul, let's say, and it activates people. And when I say activates people, it like expands people's consciousness as well, or activates it's like what many people call healing, but I've understood that it's actually an activation, because it's not a healing. And how I came across aura transformation, it was only last year. Actually, I came across the book when I was pregnant of my daughter
Ah,
in 2017. Yeah, because I received information of the golden energy through her. So when she was still like not in physical, and I started researching online, of course, and I started researching, and then I came across this book and I read it and I was like, oh, it's interesting, and didn't, think anything about it, like the Golden Age, Golden Earth book,
okay.
or
Who's that by? Because I'll make a
Annie
note.
Senoff, who did Aura Transformation.
Ah, oh, Annie's book. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Annie's book, like the latest one. I was looking about like golden energy,
yeah.
and and then yeah, it just passed. I read it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then last year I came across, I don't know, things just all of a sudden things come, you know, without knowing. And I was like, again, I was with that book in my hand and I didn't really want to do like an aura transformation, but something inside bigger when it's your intuition, I was like, oh, we'll get it. And it was amazing. It brought like a lot, I think I was leaking a lot of energy and it brought everything together. And basically, what aura transformation is, I know you've had one, you've had your aura transformation, and for everyone, it's a very different experience from what I'm like experiencing through giving it to people and speaking. When I was at the course, I was like, oh, wow, my experience was so different to many others, But it's basically crystallizing. So, like the frequency and the frequency of Earth has been changing, and it's part of like a natural evolution, cosmic and universal natural evolution, which is as we evolve, the frequency is going to go higher and higher and higher. We're going to change into from being, what this means is being from being more dense into becoming lighter, you know, so vibrating at a higher level. So so from 2012 there was a big shift, energetic shift, with a lot of like high vibrational energy arriving into earth, and the earth itself shifting and like elevating itself or expanding into fifth dimensional consciousness. So it was also like the real like access of the crystal energy into earth, which is the energy guiding this whole process. So there's many children at this time, many children came in with the crystal energy and the golden energy, and they're the people that are like the kids that are going to change, are assisting to make this whole change of frequency on earth. So it means that we who are older, who are energy is vibrating less high, need to catch up to vibrate at this level in order to live in harmony with everything that is happening and to be in balance with ourselves. Because basically, like when we have this density, it's a lot of like our trauma or imbalances that are making our frequency lower. So when you get this like aura transformation, I mean, it was mind blowing to me, because it was I was living in between what is like very high vibrational energies and then getting stuck in the collective unconscious and that matrix that we call, which is much denser. So it was back and forth. So it was making me really tired. And all of a sudden, it's when the process you create, you release a lot of what links you to this collective and your ancestral patterns and everything else, and you create this crystal aura, which is an aura that's permeable, so like nothing can come into it. So it's your own energy. Obviously you're like then embodying and allowing spirit to embody, but that's a whole process, you know. But the most amazing thing for me was to be able to be your thoughts and not other people's thoughts. You know, to realize what is really yours and what isn't, because we're so conditioned by the collective, by the collective or the matrix, whatever you want to call it, that is out there, that we don't even know who we really are. You know, we don't know, we can't access our truth, because everything we've been like, we're bombarded by all these thoughts of who we need to be, how we need to be, what we need to get, and then we're here on earth and we're completely lost. But the reality is we came here to actually we brought a seed to earth. We all have like this little seed that we're meant to come here and plant. So like all of a sudden, if you're so connected, if you have this crystal aura, which is not allowing those, like, let's say thought patterns, or let's just call them thoughts, and you know, and conditions, we're not allowing that inside, then we're like, we're able to like start recognizing that seed, our essence that we brought here to plant. And we all have that, you know, we all have that. We just, so AT was like so amazing, because it's for whoever's ready, it's incredible, because you need to be ready to actually want to recognize the truth within yourself, you know, because it might be that you need to make a lot of changes in your life, you know, because many times we're like, we make up a life according to what our mind, through all those thoughts that we've collected, has told us that life has to be. But then it's really different to live from your heart, right? But it's amazing, because once you live from your heart, you're in permanent joy, you're in permanent truth. You're like, it doesn't matter, you know, you can't hurt anyone or anyone can hurt you, really. Because it's like, it's all those conditions, or like those like sort of like energetic ties that we have, that we don't want to hurt somebody because we think, and no, it's like when you live in 5D, you don't have those things. You're like, if you're so connected to your heart, you're not going to hurt anyone. You're just going to be your truth. You know, you really, really know it's not from here, it's from here. You know that you're just doing what you came here to do. So there's no hurt around to anyone.
So here's a question actually, because often people might ask with aura transformation process, obviously, a lot
Yeah.
of people might be going through this transition whilst living in a home space with other people, whether that's a community living space or whether it's, partners, children. I would, it'd be really nice actually to have your awareness on how that has a ripple effect within the home space energetically.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, for I mean, it's so hard to say because it might be so different for everyone, you know. But but it's basically the end result is that everything is going to get balanced. So you're not going to allow. Usually, like when you're in a partnership with somebody, you're you usually choose your partner because you're lacking certain things in that person, and this is all subconscious. They're like subconscious patterns that we have, but like you're lacking in some sort of like energy, so you hook onto that other person that's going to give you that part, so it's going to fill that, let's say, emptiness within. um and then once you're whole within yourself, you realize you have everything within you, so you don't have to be like hooking in energetically, because that's what we do unconsciously. We just hook into people, or people hooking to us. So that's where like the energetic like um complications come into. So all of it, and imbalances, so all of that is sort of like not happening anymore, because you're whole within yourself. And you are like little by little bringing all your skills. You have all those skills and gifts within yourself, and you're applying those. So then everything becomes a lot more. There might be turmoil for some people at the beginning, because you're letting go of those patterns that you're so used to. But then at the end, it like you're like, oh, you're empowered within yourself. And you really don't. It's not that you need somebody, because when you need somebody, it comes from a lack. It's an old perspective. It's like that um you want to collaborate and cooperate with somebody, so you come together to create like a third thing. It's not like 1 + 1 = 2, but it's 1 + 1 = 3, you know and for with the children, then, which is the most important part to all of this, is that these children come with huge consciousness, especially like after 12/12. Before also, but like after 12/12, it's like I mean, it's incredible, their capacity and level of consciousness. So for them, they are so like they're like so quick and to understand everything. And they have like this. When you have consciousness, it means you have awareness, you have this level of perception. So they have this huge level of perception. So in what happens is, if they have to match somebody at a lower vibration, their parents, caretakers, etc., they might just like, for them it's really tiring to have to come down to like a low vibration, and to like understand this world, to like, why like you have to say yes to something that is no, or like why you think, especially like it's this, you think something but you do another thing, then you feel the guilt, then all these like, this craziness that is being in a human, like in this like in a human sort of state, and not, but they're like more divine human, let's say. So they don't, it's like they think something, they feel in their heart, they're going to think the same thing, and they're going to do it, so to do the other thing and bring your vibration down to that, it's hard for them. So when you're taking the step to like crystallizing your aura, to actually, or it doesn't have to be crystallizing your aura, but only like working on yourself in whatever way that you're becoming really aware of your patterns, and that you're and conditionings, the things that you're repeating, that are not aligned with your truth and with your true essence. So anytime that you're doing that, you're actually assisting to raise your vibration. So you're assisting for these kids to be able to stay in their truth. I got a bit sidetracked there, but basically, when right at the moment, whenever you're like choosing to become more aware, you're choosing to expand. And that's all we came here to do, to expand into like our true our true self.
So here's a completely tangent off. Where are you?
Yeah,
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Barcelona.
Ay, so you're
Yeah,
Spanish.
yeah.
Oh, Barcelona. So how
Yeah.
long ago did you leave Spain or Barcelona?
Um, so I left when I was 17. Yeah.
So
And
you've
I've
been,
lived all over. I've gone back at times and then left again.
so have you lived in LA the whole time?
Mm-mm.
No.
I've lived all over. I've lived in, so I left when I was 17 to go to London. And I lived in London until about 2004, I would say. And then I I've lived in, I mean, I traveled because that was my way of like trying to understand myself and understanding, the world. So I lived in India, in Cuba, in Geneva, because for after I left London, that I lived in, I worked in international organizations. So
Okay.
I traveled a lot and worked in that way. And of course, in like, my essence was like, oh, I want to help the world. And I worked in the UN and organizations like that, which make no sense. It didn't make any sense to me. I was in my early 20s and I was working in all these like, I, I felt deep inside that really the world could be different and it can be, and that's where we're going, but not in the way that like the actual system tells you to. And all these organizations, they are part of the system in the end.
Mm.
So yeah, there was a point that I just realized that the change wasn't out there, but it was within. And so I started like my really like inner search and personal development growth. And for me, it came a lot with movement. So I started doing a lot of, well, I worked both like, I learned like NLP and coaching, but it was a lot of movement. So I did a lot of like dance meditation and expressive arts, because there was a lot that like in that way, and now I understand there was like a lot that needed to be embodied, and through that I had many different catharsis and stuff like that. Yeah. Bless you. And yeah, and I just little by little I was just like following my intuition. I've always been, I wouldn't say I say it now. I've realized when I look back, I'm like, I've always been really strong in doing what I felt. So it's taken me places, and I haven't really followed anyone, followed like my own sort of knowing, and then shared with people and learned a lot from people, but never really stuck to one thing, which I understand now. It goes with where we're going, where we're all going to go to like an individualized consciousness.
Mm.
But so you are your own, but you share and you cooperate with others. Yeah.
So how old were you when you had that transition where you needed to go within more? How
um
when you left the UN and things like that?
yeah, it was my early 20s.
Okay, so it was quite young.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, so then,
I
obviously,
mean, yeah.
you said that you also incorporate sound with your work.
Yeah, maybe I can do like a little transmission afterwards. But like it's okay, so that we have our tangible reality now, the physical world, but there is so much more, you know, because everything is energy, or physical is our densest of the energy. So it was in about 2014 or something like that, where I was working with for Atlantean, which was Atlantis was um, a civilization, very ancient civilization. And I was working with Atlantean energy and reactivating Atlantean codes in the Canary Islands. And they're just like all like something within me, because we all carry in our cellular memory Um, I mean, in our DNA, we have our higher DNA and or dormant DNA that hasn't been activated yet, and it won't until we vibrate higher, which is part of this whole process. Um, so something got activated in me where I was able to where like all this, let's say that it's like packages of information, so energetic packages come through me, and I'm able to translate them into sounds, languages, and there are these languages that are called light languages, and they're circular, and they speak to the soul, to the essence, and they're assist. What they do is, I mean, the person that is listening to them really does, but the languages assist to activate the person, to to shed all that conditioning that we were talking about, or trauma, or whatever energetic energy is like blocked within the body, so to release it and activate the dormant DNA, so expand the consciousness. And it started there, and then it's a matter of a lot of trust, because you obviously, like, in all these things, there's now, it's great because so many people are like being, opening up to these things, so there's a lot of information out there. But at the beginning, it's sort of crazy, you're like, what, this is crazy. We've taught us always that there's, and it's in our conditioning deep down, or at least I had it deep down in my conditioning. I only wanted to trust what I could see, and feel. So all of a sudden there's this information, and you start realizing that so much of what they've told you is not true, and it's and you need to come to terms with that. Or I had to. So it was step by step. I was working with people, but I was really quiet about, whereas now I'm like, yeah, these are like, angelic languages, galactic languages, they're different consciousness. There's like dolphin things, and they're all assisting this evolution of humanity. And it's beautiful, people feel it like so beautiful, but I was really quiet about what I was doing. And I was really like, always like not trusting, like, no, this can't be true. It can't like actually work. What, And then, what really, like, it was with AT that it was really this year where I was like, oh my God, like, this is really, I'm really on mission here. This is really my mission. And I know the seed that I came here to plant. And it's a lot of like, for speaking at places like this and letting people know that there is a lot more to our truth than these ideas that they've planted in us.
Yeah, you mentioned about the Atlantean energies. I went to Santorini last summer with Olivia. We did a 10-day, it was amazing retreat where it was our first actual sacred space community retreat, and it was dipping into the energies of the land that you're in for 10 days and taking on the energy of the space. And it was really cool because we really delved into Atlantis, because they say that the last remaining element of Atlantis is Santorini.
Okay.
It was. I don't know if you learnt of that when you were studying or when you were exploring that energy. But yeah, it was amazing. And the volcano, obviously, because it's underneath the water, and they say that the Atlantis was underneath. That it was, obviously it's now underwater. But no, just listening to that, it's just like, ooh, it made me think of Santorini and sort of really resonating with that energy. And we did some amazing vision quest meditations and things to draw upon that energy and what we would come up through vision, and then we'd then recreate that vision into clay work or drawing, and it was so fun and such water-based creativity elements. I was wondering, my next question, when you were exploring that energy, is that the time when you fell pregnant?
No, actually, I had previous to that, I had a miscarriage. So when I was there, um, I had a huge um, a huge activation before from like many light beings. Um, to clear that, which I understand is like very like ancient trauma of other stuff that um I've never actually spoke like said this, but like it was actually like it was clearing that there is a one past life which I remember, and I'm not really very much into past lives because I think we're here now and we clear everything. Don't need to go back there. But there's this one that or at least not for me, you know, maybe for other people they do need to go there. But there was one life that I remember, and I was a Native American shaman, and I worked with the moon energy, and I worked between here and Mexico, and I've lived in Mexico for a long time. So, and I worked with that energy, and that it was really traumatic. Like I was ripped open completely at some point in that life. And when I had my miscarriage, and then I was anchoring this energy in the Canary Islands, and I had I had the energetic birth basically. So I had the miscarriage many months before here in LA, and then afterwards when I was there, I had this whole energetic birth, and where all of these like beings that like cleared and gave me like a huge activation, and I understood they were really like deep down. What was happening was that was the activation or the healing of that memory. You know, yeah. And then my vibration went up high enough that I was years later ready to be, you know, to have a child. Because many times, this is in my perception, many times when we have miscarriages, it's because the kids nowadays come with such a high vibration that maybe we're not able to hold that level of vibration within us, you know? So there has to be like that healing before, and this is what I understood from my experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
divine timing is very important.
Yeah. Yeah. You know?
Absolutely. And
And I
sometimes
know.
divine timing just like smashes you in the face. And you're like, okay, I didn't know I was ready for that one. Or time needs to pass for you to be ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get.
Yeah. Then when I had my daughter, like when I got pregnant with my daughter, I wasn't expecting to get pregnant at all, you know? And I was like, what? Like, what? So
How old
yeah,
is she now?
totally. She's 2.5.
What's her name?
Inca.
Inka. Oh, cool name.
Yeah.
Inka.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you been to the Inca Trail?
No, never.
Ah,
Never. Have you?
no,
No?
on the list before they shut it down for because of erosion of footfall.
Uh-huh.
I know that
Oh,
there,
really? I didn't know.
yeah, there's only going to be a certain amount of time frame. My in-laws went, and they said it's not going to be long before they won't let people on it anymore because of the
Okay.
erosion. Yeah, so I'm like, that's definitely something on my list. So where in Mexico did you live?
I've lived in the South Pacific, so in Oaxaca,
Okay,
and also in Mexico City. Yeah.
I like
I
Mexico.
traveled, yeah.
Well, there's quite a few people in the group that are based in Baja, in
Okay.
Mexico. Yeah, and yeah. So no, go on.
Yeah. No, I love Mexico. I like absolutely love it. I've traveled a lot of it. And I go there a lot, and wonderful people. And I feel from there.
Yeah, right.
Partly. Yeah.
Because of your roots, you know. I mean, I know
Mhm.
there's that. North
Sure.
Mexico, I want to explore actually, because there's some amazing crystal caves in Mexico. Did you get to go
Really?
there or see any of the ruins in the rainforest and stuff?
Yeah, ruin, yeah, for sure. But not Crystal Caves. What's that? Where's that?
Um,
You know?
more in the So if you were looking at Mexico on the west coast side, if you step inland on the map, it's in that kind of lower inland area. My
Okay.
friend lives not far. She's got a retreat and she lives not far, I believe, from some of these caves that look amazing. So I'm like, one day. But no, so can I ask why LA? Like of all these places in the world that you got to experience and witness and feel in its entirety, I'm intrigued to see what drew you to LA.
My there might be something that I'm not aware of, but like the basic thing is that my partner, he works in film. He's a filmmaker.
Okay, LA.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
Mhm. Yeah.
What does he do?
He's a director. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, fair
So
enough. That's like a big place for it. So how did you two
yeah,
meet?
in London.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So did you work all
I went back to London in 2012 to live,
and then
and and met him
how did you meet in London?
just through friends.
Okay, so it wasn't like a work connection, a random spontaneous meet.
No, sort of. It always had, but yeah, it
Hmm.
was spontaneous because it was like a group of, but it was through friends, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you married or not? Or is it life partner or
Married.
oh you are married.
Yeah. Yeah. But we didn't have a wedding or anything.
But that's cool. Doesn't matter, does it? You're connected in union.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been like a big marriage person. So, so it's even hard for me to say, you know, I'm married. I'm
I can
like, oh,
tell. I
really?
can
I'm
tell.
married?
Yeah,
It's,
when did you get married?
what?
When?
When? It was 2017.
Okay, so not long ago.
So yeah, yeah.
Ah, and I keep looking and I'm drawn to the picture behind you on the wall of some mountains. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that with us? Because I'm keep looking at it and I'm like, what
You
is
want
it?
me to bring it close?
Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
No, of course not. It's from, this Tom, my partner. He gave it to me as a present. But it's from, uh, the artist is called Raúl Gutiérrez.
Uh-huh.
You actually see it.
Yeah, go on, slightly tip
But
the.
it's like, it's up in the,
Oh, there we are. Yeah, got it. Yeah. Oh, cool. Is that in
yeah,
Nepal?
yeah.
Ah, have you been
Mm.
to Nepal?
Yeah, I've been there also, working with some energies there as well.
Well, you're a woman
In,
well traveled.
huh?
You are a
Yeah,
woman.
yeah, like that is part of like, part of um yeah, part of what I came here to do. I love it. I love like planet Earth. It's amazing, I love traveling. And then uh, just at a certain point, I got called to like travel with like more awareness, I would say,
Yeah,
and to understand that when we're traveling, we're doing a lot more
yeah. And I was
than
wondering,
we.
when we post the video, whether you could maybe um, on the bottom recommend any books for anyone to read that might be of interest. That this might not be this might be familiar to many, but also it might be very unfamiliar to some. So it'd be
Yeah.
lovely for people to go, well, what is she on about? Like, I'd love to know more about this. And yeah, please, if you could share a couple of books as
Okay.
as
I wouldn't totally share it just because I'm really like I'm super passionate about what AT can do to people. So I would share that book, which is like a bit maybe, I don't know, just because it's more about like everyone has their own journey, but it's more about what you can find for yourself.
yeah, no, great.
And AT sort of like explains that, I guess, no? Even though when I first read the book, I was just like golden age. I was like, oh yeah, fine. It didn't give me like, so much information. But after having an AT, I think you um, can understand it from a different place
Yeah. I was
as well.
wondering, you said you might be up for sharing a little something. So I was wondering,
Oh yeah,
yeah, do you fancy?
sure. Have you ever done a light language transmit? Have you ever heard light language or?
I have, but I'm not, everybody's different and unique in their
Yeah,
own.
yeah, sure.
So everyone has their own gift, seed, to share.
Mm.
So I just fully embrace all of it. So yeah, like, well, yeah, I'd love to have a little. you know, like you say, if there's anything you want to share, I'd love that.
Mhm. Do you want to keep, should I just share now?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So,
You're like, shall we?
um, so maybe if you want to close your eyes and just, or you can leave them open if you want, but it's more like an internal thing. It's always better.
Can I lie down? Can I get comfy?
Yeah, of course. That'd be even better.
Oh, let's do that. I'll
To
stand.
just,
Okay, right.
and for anyone that's listening to this, and there's no time of space really, energy doesn't understand that. It's only our mind. So you're welcome to do that as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, lovely.
So just connect to your breath and connecting in, inhaling and exhaling, letting go, allowing with every exhale to let go of more and more. Inhaling life, exhaling death. Aneara ko makaria sera no makiara teara no masera neara ko maria teara neara ko. Mare teara no koko asera na noara kiara neara come kiri tiare tiaria 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 tiaria. So inhaling and exhaling, letting go. Asera no ko amiara tearo no koko asera neara niera kom. O kiara no ko mere tiara neara ko miare kini asera neara ko miare tiara neara kom. Inhaling into the heart and breathing out from the heart. Inhaling and allowing all the energy to integrate into every cell of your body. And there is nothing to do, just relaxing into this. Umaria tiara neara sarakao maria tiara neara. Breathing in and breathing out. Feeling your feet and your body on the ground, on earth. Asara no amaria koa sereneara teara no koa makaria tiara ne. Acknowledging that you are earth. Makaria tiara to sireniara kokiare ne karakiara no koa maria tiara 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 tiara. That there is nothing else to do than to expand into your consciousness. Asarane karani ara koko amasarane ara koko miareti ara nako amasarane. allowing for this integration to anchor into every cell of your body. So just breathing in, relaxing. Coming back into the connection with the earth. And when you're ready, this is, so it's like, this is how I feel it. It's like we're an electrical field. We're electromagnetic. So it's a rewiring of our whole system. And what was coming in now was like, it was Pleiadian consciousness. So, yeah. Just like what is like really important, I feel, is how much we are earth, like we are earth, you know. So yeah, it just grounding back into this. It's like rewiring, but being here and being in earth, and earth like activating us. So that's part of like how it's so important, you know, when you travel and travel consciously, because it's activating different parts in our DNA. And yeah, but this is light language, so it's different consciousness speaking, which I don't feel it like anything is like external to me. It's all like aspects of me, right? And that's because in the end we're everything as well. So it's just different aspects, and
So
but different.
when you were saying obviously the non-English language, does that come up? Is it the same every time, or do you speak whatever comes up within you in that moment?
Different.
Yeah,
It's
that's
different.
yeah.
And it's all doing different things, and it carries different messages. A lot of, you know, it's, as I was saying, it's circular language, you know, so it's not what we speak linear. So it's not, it is understandable. Your soul is understanding. Your being is understanding, not your mind. And sometimes I'll speak because I'm able to like translate it into our language as well, certain parts, but it's only really, it's like wow, it's like really key things, you know, that I'll say.
Yeah, it sounded when you were doing it, it felt really comforting,
Mm.
like really homely, really nurturing and nourishing.
Mm.
And I like that. And also because I speak a lot of Sanskrit, but also when I play my pan drum and I sing,
Mm.
I always a lot of the time just go with, you know, with what comes up in that moment for what that person needs. A bit like what you're doing, and it's really lovely because the Sanskrit, a lot of people don't know what Sanskrit translates as, so there's no emotional attachment to the words, it's just pure. And it's the same thing with the light language. You have this pure transmission. There is no previous attachment emotionally to what you're saying, so they just receive it in its pure essence. And I think that's, yeah, it's really nice. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Um, Yeah, it's amazing.
Is there
And
anything?
I tell you, and I used to judge it a lot, you know, and now it's like, wow, no, every time it's like, it's incredible. I used to judge it because I, I would just be like, this is so fucking weird, you know, what I'm doing. And then it's like, no, like, oh my God, the unconditionality, you know, like sometimes it's um, divine cosmic mother, the dolphin energy, you know, all these energies, which are just like, well, like in Sanskrit as well, you know, it's just like a complete
Mm.
embrace.
Like you say, I love it when, because obviously we're both doing work from the heart, right? And helping people find their truth, what they're here for. I was just treating a client this morning, and it was so nice to, because obviously I haven't been able to do much work hands on, as
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I did today, and um, and also actually I'm quite surprised with how much we can transmit online because I've had some online clients and it's been amazing, and I've also tapped into their energetic space even online, which for me is in. I'm not. I know this may surprise you, but I haven't really wanted to get involved online until lockdown. I was People kept saying to me, "You got to do this, you got to do that." I'm like, I don't want to. I want to see people, and because we were forced into this situation, it's now I'm realizing there's so many benefits to connecting online, and some of the sessions that I've done with people only for 30, 40 minutes has been amazing. And so like you say, the whole like light energy transmission is powerful, like when I can hear
And
you.
energy doesn't, it's only like a construct of our mind that it's like, you know, that there is time and space.
Yeah.
No, really, like that time and that like space, like really, like when I like all my light language transmissions, and I'll do, you know, I work individually with people or I work in groups because there's much more that um happens to like everyone that comes in it's like so divine because everyone that shows up in that group in that space is for some reason. It's always different and it always well, it's orchestrated, you know. um but I send many people like will sign up and they can't be there live. They get the recording and they're having that same activation, but you know, it can be like really weird because you think, oh no, if you're not there in person, you know, or if you're not there in online, and it's like, no, the energy's there. The energy doesn't. It's gonna, you know, we're quantum. We're so much more than the physicality. So it's all,
Mm.
yeah. And that's like when we're like able to, yeah, when there's like, you know, that when everything is like, we're able to like jump through time, you know, and time travel and stuff like that, which is something that like I think more and more people are going to be able to do
Mm.
because it's only once we're like able to trespass that limitation of the mind
Mm.
of this like that we're, you know, that there's like linear time
Mm.
and physical space. Once we're like able to trespass that, then we're able to access like so much more.
Yeah, and yes, there's a few people that I know in my life that definitely I might have to get on here to talk a little bit about that aspect actually. 'Cause that might be quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I've really enjoyed talking to you today, Barbara.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like to share before we finish?
No, I love that, like, because I didn't know that you did like sound healing and Sanskrit and all of that. So I actually love that it came out like this, you know, when I reached out and I was like, oh, I'll share it with you. And it's actually, you know, it's always like synchronistic like that. You know, it's not like anyone. It's like, um, it's because there's something. I mean, yeah, I guess what I want to share is like there's so much more than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Everything and everything we do and everything, you know, there is so much more. And like we are so much more than we think we are.
Yeah, we are multifaceted.
So much. And that at this time, which is like a super important time, with is it is so important that we become aware of that because everyone here has come for a reason, and it's, you know, it's like, I mean, I know also everyone is like ready in their own time to, to become responsible, but it is time at the same time, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. No,
Yeah.
thank you, Barbara. I'm really excited about this connection moving forwards. So,
Yeah.
like this is, I'm sure, just the beginning of a light ripple effect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for being my first international Sacred Chat and Chai guest.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
And if anyone's
Oh,
watching this that's from another place, it'd be lovely to have your perspective. And also, I love the fact as well, Barbara, that you're so well traveled. You've, originally from Spain and you've lived all over the place. And also, I loved the polarities of working when you were younger in quite extreme working environments, really, like the complete polar
mm,
opposite to what you're working in now. And I love that because it's a real, yeah,
mm,
real polar opposite, isn't it? So in
yeah.
LA now, how do you teach your work? Do you work at a practice or do you have your own space or how does that work?
Um, I have my own space from like my house. I have my office in my house. And I work, so I mean, AT when I've started doing it, and it's only physical. So people have to come here. And all the stuff that I do with light language, I'll do, I'll do physical groups, and but not since lockdown I haven't done,
Yeah.
because I'll work with like groups of people, and but I do them online as well. So anyone that's interested, you can email me at info@ Barbara Canals, so my name, .com,
And actually,
and I'll write it down.
I've also
Yeah,
put on the group on your post that I did for you. I put all
yeah,
of your links on there. So if anybody does
okay.
want to look up a bit more information, when you also tag your book to read for people to be inspired by it, they'll also see on the original post all of your links as well. So if you can't see that, make sure, guys, that you have a little look and see what Barbara's offering. But also, Barbara, something that I really want to start offering in the group as well is
Mm,
that if there's anything that you want to list as an event on
mm,
Space Community Group that is an event that you're running independently, but you want to open it up to the community and invite them to come to one of your events, then please feel free to list the event on there because I want people to start sharing what they're doing. And it doesn't matter if it's fee paying or donation
mm,
basis or something you want to offer as a random free or one-off thing, just to let you know that it'd be lovely to have you, if you wanted to share
mm-hmm.
anything and events that you'd like to, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that for sure. Tomorrow, I do continuous, because it's my mission to. Um, there's no way around it, so I'm like continuously doing, and actually tomorrow I have, it's at 9:30 a.m. here in LA time, and I'm doing a light language transmission activation. But this has been part of a series that I've been doing, and it's crazy because, as we're saying, like there's nothing synchronicity. It started like I did it for, I'm just sort of like, like I just sort of like feel like it needs to be these dates, but I don't look into like what dates it is, but I don't think it with my mind either. It just, you know, and then all of a sudden, a few like I hadn't done this series, and a few like a bit later, or weeks later, I look into like, oh, okay, there we got this series coming up, and then it was all having to do with like eclipse season. So it started like last month when the eclipses started, and it's been within. And tomorrow is the lunar eclipse as well, and it's 4th of July, which has to, well,
Yeah.
and so like it's mind blowing, But it's tomorrow's a really strong, like, energetic day. Tomorrow and like the week to come and whatever. I mean, it's being now. It's like, I mean, there's a lot happening. Let's say, a lot happening in terms of like what we can't actually see or
Mm.
think.
Yeah, I
We're
try and get people that are non-believers of what they're not able to see. I
mm,
say to them, when did you last sit and look at a window with the light shining through and observe all the particles in the air in that moment? And they're like, oh yeah. when you see that, can you see how much is around you that you don't even see on a daily basis? I mean, that, I know it's tiny little, but that's something that they can access and see
Yeah.
in the right light. And it's the same thing, isn't it, with all of the other. You just have to
Yeah.
listen. But I'm going to press not stop recording now.
Okay.
But I just want to say
Forward.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was amazing.